Wimbledon legend and former A Question of Sport presenter Sue Barker stepped down from her hosting role at the tennis championships earlier this year. Sue was let go from BBC's A Question of Sport, and in a new interview, she opened up about how she felt about being replaced. The presenter also addressed her decision to leave Wimbledon, and admitted she didn't want to be pushed out of the door. Sue had been a much-loved and devoted presenter for the tennis tournament for over 30 years. However, at the end of the 2022 championships, Sue decided to walk away. The former tennis star fronted the coverage of the sporting event since 1999. In 2020, Sue claimed she was forced to leave the BBC programme A Question of Sport after hosting for 24 years. Following her departure, it was announced that Paddy McGuinness would be joining the show as the new host of the sports quiz. Team captains Matt Dawson and Phil Tufnell were also replaced by Sam Quek and Ugo Monye. Opening up about her departure from the program she fronted for so long, she said, "The way it was handled made me think about Wimbledon and the way I wanted to walk away on my own terms rather than be pushed out the door. To be taken into a room after 24 years and be told, 'We don't want you anymore,' I just wish they handled the end a little better," she told Lauren Laverne on Desert Island Discs. Sue claimed the BBC tried to get her back on side, saying, "Unbelievably, they then offered me my job back. But, as I couldn't help but feel they didn't want me anymore, I declined. The following day, I was again asked to say I was leaving for the good of the show. What on earth were they thinking?" She has since revealed her reasoning for walking away from Wimbledon and said in an official statement via the BBC, "What a wonderful time I've had working on some of the biggest sporting events around the world. I will miss it terribly, but after 30 years, I feel the time is right for me. I've worked with the best of the best." When the news of her departure from the BBC show was announced, the broadcaster was hit with complaints from several of its fans and Sue's loyal followers. Addressing the backlash, the BBC claimed, "We have received some complaints about upcoming changes to the lineup on A Question of Sport. We would like to thank Sue Barker for her enormous contribution as the show's longest reigning host over the last 24 years, and Matt Dawson and Phil Tufnell for their excellent team captaincy over 16 and 12 years respectively." They continued, "Together, they have ensured A Question of Sport remains a firm favourite with the BBC One audience." During her final day at Wimbledon, Tim Henman interrupted Sue to show her a montage looking back on her career with tributes from current and former players. By the end, Sue was wiping her tears with a tissue, with Tim's arm around her as Billie Jean King declared her to be the greatest presenter. Crowds had gathered near the rooftop studio where Sue had been watching the video, and they burst into chants of "Sue, Sue, Sue, Sue," and sang "We love you, Sue, we do." She said, "It's been an absolute privilege, I've loved it, 30 amazing years, thank you. You'll miss the job, I wish I had the next 30 years because I love it, but most of all I'm going to miss the people I work with in front of the camera, behind the camera. You've just been absolutely amazing. I've just been so proud to front the program. Thank you."